Welcome to this 10-minute Lux guide. So Lux is a mage that is fragile close range, but deadly if played properly at her long range. She's a versatile champion as she can snare, slow, and even has a shield for you and your teammates. She works well with most team composition and is one of my favorite champions to play. But you have to know that all her skills are skill shots, so you have to land them in order to play well as Lux. So with many mages, her auto attack lacks in damage, but her passive illumination marks her targets when she damages any enemies with any of her abilities for a short duration. She can then detonate the mark for extra magic damage with her auto attack or ult Final Spark. In laning phase, you can get pretty aggressive with this passive, but watch out for ganks as she is fragile. So on to Lux's abilities. The first ability to get is E, Lucent Singularity. This is Lux's primary harass tool and is maxed first. Lux throws a light ball that grants vision, and the area around the light ball causes slow. Once the ability is activated again, the ball detonates and causes damage to nearby enemies. This is a versatile skill as you can throw to zone the opponent or for the slow effect when not detonated right away. The second skill to get is Q, Light Binding, and this is max second. This is Lux's snare ability and can snare up to 2 enemies, but the second enemy has a shorter snare duration. Note that this is a snare, so the enemies are still able to use their abilities and can attack you. When your jungler comes to gank, try to snare the opponent or snare on top of already stunned or snared enemies like in this clip right here. The third skill to get is W, Prismatic Barrier. This is Lux's shield ability. When she throws her wand, it shields her and her allies that are in the path of the wand. The wand will re-shield Lux and her allies on the way back as well. In a case of a gank, using W can save your life or from you wasting a flash. Lux's ult is Final Spark and it is her finishing move. It is very useful in team fights as it does line AoE damage, and her low CD allows her to sometimes shoot 2 ults in one team fight. In laning phase, it can also be used to snipe enemies from far. This is a very important skill shot to hit properly, so practice predictive movement to hit ult every single time. As you just saw, Lux's combo is Q, E, ult, and E again to detonate. If you're using Ignite, you can include that in the combo as well. This combo is done really quickly, so practice to get proper rhythm going, as it is essential that you can get this combo every single time. So to the gameplay of Lux. Here I'm teleporting to bot since my bot is getting wrecked. Blitz is dead, but I'm able to save Kate by hitting Q and E on Tristiana, but he flashes and he is able to escape. Our Jax is also trying to help, but he gets snared, feared, and dies. I finish a Morgana with ult and battle Fiddles with Kate. We are able to kill Fiddlestick, but Kate is also dead. This was 2 enemies with 3 allies, so it was not the best battle, but if I didn't teleport down, it would have been a much worse result. So here I am teleporting bot again to help out. I try to snare Morgana, but she flashes and gets away, but I am able to hit my E and ult her for the kill. We chase with Tristana, but enemy Fiddles comes with ult. I use my QE combo to stop Fiddles from moving, and use shield for protection against Tristana. Blitz sneaks from the back and we are able to kill both of them. This was 3 for 0, so it was really good, but right after we get destroyed by Lee Sin, so it becomes 3 for 3. But thank God that our Jax and Shyvana was able to get the middle tower. But ideally, we should got out right away after we killed 3 enemies so Lee Sin didn't kill us all. Here we are initiating a fight that turned out to be a 4v5 in their jungle. I try to QE Morgana, but she flashes to get out. Right after, Fiddles is ulting me. Notice I don't immediately detonate E after I miss as it gives vision of the jungle. I'm feared now, but I immediately shield myself and run away from the enemy for when teammates attack Fiddles. I miss my E for Fiddles since Blitz pulls him. Again, I don't detonate right away. We kill Fiddles, but our Shyvana also dies trying to tank 3 enemies. Once enemy team comes close to my E, I detonate for damage. Now both teams are pretty low. I try to finish some of them by ulting, but they do not die and they are able to go back. So instead of chasing, we go bot to take out the second tier tower. So this is the first 5v5 in the game. I'm harassing in frontline with E until one of us initiates. It is really important for Lux not to get caught at initiation because Lux will die so fast. So team fight starts and I was able to snare Tristana. I try to ult 3 enemies, but I fail pretty badly here. Right after, Fiddle ults and fears me. After fear, I use shield and try to position myself to the back. So Jax has already died in the beginning of the fight, and we are split into 2 groups. This is not a good fight for us, so I'm going back to regroup. Our Kate and Blitz is getting chased by enemies as well, but we are able to help them and get a kill off. Here's a repeat of that scene in another perspective. But this team fight was not the best, but the result was even as it was 1-for-1. Here I am able to poke Kale down with my E and ult to finish him off. We have just gotten Baron, so we want to fight this. We go for the push, but Fiddle ults and fears me. I use my Zhonya's, then shield. My teammates are able to take care of Fiddles and Morgana that is out of position. I also use shield on my teammates to absorb some damage. With 3 of the enemies dead, we are able to get mid tower, mid inhibitor without any problem. I use my ult to clear minion waves, and we are able to get bottom inhibitor as well. We also get greedy here and try to go for the top tower as well. I'm using all my abilities to support my team from the backline. It is too dangerous to go into auto attack range for this fight. Thankfully, none of us dies and we retreat to regroup. After regrouping, we're going for that top tower again. Again, we're not doing so well. I snare Fiddles that has ulted, but we're trying to retreat, but Shyvana dies in the process. They are chasing us pretty badly, and so during my run, I land my full combo to kill Tristana, but now I'm slowed by Kale and is hit by Lee Sin. Expecting to jump from Lee Sin, I use my Zhonya's to survive. I still die, but my teammates finish off all enemies except for Morgana that was not involved in the fight. So as you saw, Lux is very squishy, so you have to make sure you keep the proper distance in order to survive a fight. Here luckily, we were able to kill all the enemies after I died, but that doesn't always happen. As Lux, you want to utilize your range to the max, and if you can do that, you rarely die in a team fight. Anyways, after the team fight, we are able to get all the towers, so the enemy nexus is now open. But since the enemy has revived back, we are retreating to regroup for the one last time. For the last battle of the game, all of us should have just pushed mid with the minions, but Shyvana tries to backdoor with teleport and dies. But this does not really affect so much since we have all the inhibitors. I'm spamming all my abilities, so I harass the enemy champions and kill the minion waves so our ADC can safely hit the nexus to finish the game. Now going into runes, masteries, item build, and skill orders. For runes, they are pretty standard APC runes with 9 times magic resist per level glyphs, 9 times magic pen marks, 9 times armor seals, and 3 times ability power quintessences. If you are laning against an AD champion, I change it up and add some mana regen and more armor instead of getting MR. This will give you more sustain in lane. For mastery, I use the same as the one I use for my other mages, and the important key masteries are the movement speed and the cooldown reductions. For item order, as always, I made a flowchart of the build. Up to Chalice, that red wine looking item, my build order is typically the same order. Build Lich Bane only if you're good at being aggressive with Lux. Some enemy composition, this is not recommended. Do not get it when other team has a lot of gap closers, assassins, as Lux will be instantly deleted if in close range. Also, if you are laning against an AD champions, you can consider to make the armor portion of the Zhonya's faster than the flowchart right here. For skill order, this is a pretty standard way of getting Lux's skills. Start E unless you're invading and max E first. Your priority for skill order is O, E, Q, W. Make sure using Lux's skill to the max as they are very versatile. Like her E has 4 ways to use. The first 3 are the ones that are stated here, and you are also able to get a vision of a bush or anywhere in the fog of the map by throwing E. And that about wraps up Lux Guide. Just keep practicing those skill shots, the combos, and keep your long range to just play well as Lux. Thanks for listening.